Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. So welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. This is Daniel Martinez Stahl. I am in season 3. This is episode 6, though what we're doing is we're replaying the pre-season special between Margo and myself that we held before her minor surgery. And so Margo is here, as am I, to be with you guys, but we're going to play the recording and share that with you as part of the normal schedule of the show. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Feel free to ping us in chat if you would like. Hopefully this will work. Can people hear? Was the audio working before? So no audio?
It stopped when you started playing in the recording.
So the recording doesn't have an audio. Okay, let me see if there's a setting here. I'm going to minimize the videos. All right. I'm trying to stop. You guys still can't hear anything, is that right?
Nope. Can't hear.
I love Zoom sometimes. You guys can see it, you just can't hear it, correct?
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Stop recording. Share computer sound. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to probably restart the whole recording just to clean all of this stuff up, if you guys don't mind. Together for our team of guides, mentors, spirits, can you guys hear that? Loved ones for co-creating this experience with us and being part of our journey. For the beings of light to, does that work? Can you guys hear that okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let me bring that back to the beginning. Stop share. Hide the chat so I can access the recording button. Okay, so awesome. Thank you guys for your patience with me. So welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. My name is Daniel Martinez. This episode is a replay of the preseason special that Margo and I did a couple weeks ago. We're available to answer your questions via chat. And I'm just going to start sharing the recording and let me know if you have any questions. Excuse me, I couldn't mute that fast enough. Okay, where did that go? All right, so welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. My name is Daniel Martinez Stahl, and with me today is Margo Fraser. This is a preseason session, which it became necessary because Margo is going to be unavailable during our regular season, and both of us wanted to make sure that she was part of this gathering for our benefit as well as yours. And so we're doing a preseason special. Thank you guys for joining us, those of you that are with us live. I will be offering this as a recording during the regular season. I'm going to be present during that replay so that I can interact with anybody should anybody have any questions or add comments. And so we're going to have eventually 2 recordings of Margo talking. And I haven't decided whether or not I will make the second one available or not. Probably just because I think it might be fun. We'll see how that session plays out. So feel free to join us back if you want to listen to Margo again. The regular season, as you know, will start on November 11th. So I will do an opening ceremony then. But since this is kind of preseason, just really quickly, I just wanted to appreciate and thank the divine love and light for being with us, for helping us get together, for our team of guides, mentors, spirits, angels, and loved ones, for co-creating this experience with us and being part of our journey, for the beings of light who help us to maintain and create a safe and sacred space for us all to play in, and to the master healers who come in and play with us and help us heal throughout these sessions, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and energetically, all of the above. So thank you guys all for being here with us, physically and non-physical friends. Margo, let me pass it over to you, a quick introduction as to who you are, and then we will go from there.
Yeah, hi everyone. Well, I'm excited to be here. Thanks Daniel for inviting me back. And I am a nature intuitive, a nature mystic. I work with the beings of love, light, service, and power, and really help to track down those places where we're taking ourselves out, taking ourselves off our spiritual path. This is an apropos topic today, where we sabotaged ourselves, aspects that may have come through ancestral lineage, this timeline, past timelines, where, yeah, we've got these shadow aspects and we want to make friends with them. We want to see them. We want to transform them into aspects that are really part of our uniqueness and supportive for us. And that's what I support people with doing. And I'm a certified intuitive strategist through Academy for the Soul. I'm a master teacher with the Academy as well. And I'm a certified human design professional. So looking at people's energetic wiring. And again, you can see what is the truth of you? What are you wired for? And where do you get taken off track? So I love how those weave together. I work with the nature beings and channeling their essences through to support them, support you, support my clients, and everybody that's here in that healing process. So yeah, excited to be here and excited to talk about these eclipse energies, shadow and light, and the celestial plant allies that work with them as well.
So I'm really excited about this conversation, partly because I've got no idea who these beings are. I've never heard of them. And so I'm excited to kind of learn more about them. As always, for those of you that are with us live, feel free to ask questions, interact with us. We are here with you and for you as much as we are here for ourselves, to enjoy ourselves. So please feel free to play with us at whatever level you would like. If you would like to, come onto the video, I will ask permission to make sure that I turn on the video just for privacy's sake. Feel free to put a message in the chat, or if you just want to stay in audio, we can do that too. So whatever. If I tend to back away and I start getting pretty quiet, I forget that the microphone is fixed. So just remind me and I'll move forward, and hopefully the sound quality will be pretty good. So anyway, thank you guys all for being here. Once again, Margo, excited to see where we go in this conversation. So get us started. Let's get going.
Yeah. So why this came up, I think two things were happening. One, the eclipses are happening. We just had the solar eclipse. We're moving towards the lunar eclipse, and that kind of came in. And I also have for many years done all sorts of coaching and mentoring. I used to coach speed skating up to the Olympic level, and in figure skating. I've kind of always been drawn to coaching and mentoring. And now in the Academy for the Soul, I mentor people in stepping into their intuitive gifts and bringing them out into the world. And what I was noticing lately, because we've had a lot of people that are just on that cusp of starting their own radio show with the Academy or being on a telesummit, and it's like molasses comes in, right? They start slowing down, the resistance comes in, things come up, they're getting sick, or there's excuses, or all these things happen in their life that pull them off track. And yeah, so it was like, okay, we need to address these self-sabotaging aspects. And this is really what the eclipse energies represent. The north and south nodes of the moon. And if you don't know what the eclipse points are, it's just, if you think about from our view on Earth, it seems like the sun, it's a celestial plane, is moving around us. It has a certain path, and the moon has a certain path. And there are places where the moon's path and the sun's path overlap. And so those 2 points, one is in the northern hemisphere, one in the southern hemisphere. When the full moon or the new moon are really close to those eclipse points, that is when we have a lunar or a solar eclipse happening. And historically, the ancient wisdom was kind of about the eclipse points being this shadow. What's eclipsing our light, right? What's eclipsing our light? And in Hindu mythology, they're referred to as Rahu, the north node of the moon, or Ketu, the south node of the moon. And they are sometimes considered like demonic energies, which is not really true. It was really, in the ancient stories, there was an acknowledgement of the dual nature of this earth plane, and how we have kind of a light side and a polarity of a shadow side, and that there's always this movement between them. And they can really help us to unveil those shadow sides of ourselves. So mathematically, yes, they are these calculation points used in astronomy to determine when the next eclipse is going to happen. But spiritually, they're really about, where are these sabotaging shadows? Where are we doing things against ourselves and taking ourselves off track? Where are those fears coming in, those distortions, that conditioning, right? We all have been conditioned by our families, by societies, about how we should act and who we should be, and so on. We're trying to work through that, and what's really true to us and what's not. And this is where Rahu and Ketu, their eclipse energies, can really support us. When I was feeling in, just before I came on to the call, I was just feeling into those eclipse points, into Rahu and Ketu, and they were really bringing through that these eclipses are bringing the manifestation of reminding us to pause and not be so caught up in our day-to-day, the mundane aspects of our life, that we're forgetting to, Where are the shadows? Why am I doing this? Is this a line for me, or is this not a line for me? And each of Rahu and Ketu have their own unique traits that I can talk about, but generally any of the, let's call them symptoms that we have where we're disconnecting from our spiritual path, where we're not really interested in kind of breaking through the Maya, breaking through the illusion to see the truth around us, to see the oneness, any destructive energy against ourselves. So again, this self-sabotage, this is the energy of Rahu and Ketu. And at the same time, their highest vibration energies are the ones that can help us transcend that self-destructive aspect. And they've got celestial plant kingdom allies that kind of soak up their energy and can really help us with that transformational process, that transmutational, that transcendent process. Anything you want me to say or that you want to ask there, Daniel, before I continue on?
So talk to us a little bit about the relationship that they have with these celestial plant friends. What are they? How do they work together? And how can we benefit from that relationship?
Yeah, so I mean, the plant kingdom beings are so receptive. They are receiving the cosmic light. They're receiving all the planetary energies. And you can think of the planetary energies, and in the Vedic system, Rahu and Ketu would still be referred to as planets, even though they're technically not. They're just receiving and soaking up that beautiful cosmic light. And they also add in their own unique things. So the reason I really like working through the plant kingdom energies is because they're grounded. They bring things to earth. They help us utilize these energies here on the earth plane, and we can work with them energetically. Some of them we can work with physically through herbs, through growing them in our gardens, through essential oils. Again, I like to just channel the energies. That's how I work with them. But those plants really help us to ground those shifts, ground that transmutational energy into our beings. I mean, gosh, like this is the main source of our food, our nourishment in life is through the plant kingdom beings. And they are just so supportive in helping us. And although the frequencies are coming through, and plants will, just like us, will have all aspects of all the planetary archetypes, they're really just archetypes of the divine energy. Certain plants will hold more of a certain essence than others. So lavender, for instance, holds a higher vibration energy of the moon essences. For Rahu and Ketu, they would be plants, for example, that grow in the shade, that do well there. They could be the plants that are poisonous plants. Plants that are hallucinogens. Now, not, the sacred plants that we use, but ones that are like, woohoo, let's go, right? That's that self-sabotaging. Let's escape from this existence into some other state of mind. It's not for accessing the sacred within ourselves. So those plants would also be considered Rahu and Ketu related plants. Plants that might kind of take over the garden. They carry the essence of Rahu and Ketu within them as well. And yet at the same time, the high frequency aspects they carry in for us can help us to bring into awareness what the sabotaging aspects are of us that we carry. And again, support our process of going through that acceptance that they're there, almost like loving them up, right? Our shadow aspects, it's like, oh, okay, I see you. I see what happened to you. I see the trauma that you went through. Oh my gosh, okay, let's work now to release this. We can move into really being our unique selves and shining all of our colors out there. And that's what Rahu and Ketu are ultimately about, is releasing those shadow aspects so that our multidimensional nature can really shine forth. I mean, that is our purpose. It will emerge from us just living our divine nature. So I can talk a little bit, if you want to understand a little bit about Rahu versus Ketu, their kind of nature per se, but that's how the plants support us.
So a couple of things that I know, I don't want to get away from the topic too much, but I love that you're bringing up the power that plants have and the role that they play in our experience. One of the channels that I listened to some time ago was talking about how we underappreciate the role that plants play in our day-to-day experience, and that's going to shift as we evolve collectively and as our understanding of things grows. We're going to start to really appreciate plants even much more so than we do animals. There's a role that they play with us that we really underappreciate. So I really love that you're bringing up our plant friends as beings, and so that's really cool. So yeah, if you can talk about the role of the two different characteristics, that would be helpful.
For sure. And just since you just said that about the plants, one thing I want to mention too is in their design, like from a human design system point of view, the plants have a splenic center. We have a splenic center. It's our primal awareness energy center. It's associated with our survival, health, well-being. It's associated with our immune system. So it's not just the spleen, it's the whole immune system. And plants have a splenic center. And so they really do help us to feel good when we're out in nature. So it's like, oh, that's really what the splenic center is looking for. Where's the feel good out there? In its lower self side, its shadow side, it really like tries to hold on to things that aren't healthy for us anymore. We got to feel good once, but not anymore, whether it's a person, a relationship, a job, food, whatever it might be. So yeah, it's one of the things that I think we all know instinctively and intuitively, that when we're out in nature, there's just this, there's this feel good. And the plants really do have that energy that can support us that way. So yeah, love the plants. All right. So yeah, let's talk about these kind of two sides of the eclipse points here. So Rahu's the rebel. That's how it plays out. Rahu is, you can typically have an understanding or actually see the trauma and the reason that it's happening. So, a child who's lost a parent, for example, and they start acting out or like fine, and they stomp their feet and they slam the door and they, go into the room and nobody can come in here. It's really where we rebel against what's good for us. It's more active. It's like the complainer, right? We all have this, these times when we complain, right? Fess up, right? We all have these venting times, right? Oh my gosh. But when it's kind of chronic, we're constantly complaining, that would tell us that there's an aspect that's associated with Rahu that is there. Obsession. So Rahu is the head of the snake, the north node, the head of the serpent. So I always think it's in its highest form, it's the cosmic air. In its lowest forms, sometimes it has a lot of hot air. It's just complaining. The obsession, right? The craving. I think about that big, serpent mouth going after things. And even with our spirituality, like when we become desperate, oh my gosh, if I don't find my purpose, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and like there's this desperate desire type energy before, instead of just the, okay, I'm walking this path, here we go. Rahu is, the one who's nothing will make them happy. Nothing will satisfy them, right? Nothing is pleasing. There's always crisis. There's always something going on. But again, it's also in the high form, the cosmic air, the breath of the divine. And when we connect with that high vibration of Rahu through the plant kingdom energies in particular, it's like we can breathe in that divine essence. We can move it through our bodies in a bigger way. So eucalyptus is an essence, is a plant kingdom being that opens up our prana. But if we go even deeper than that with it, we're asking it. And this is the way we want to work with the plants. We want to let them know what our intentions are, right? Otherwise, it's just mindless consuming of them. What do you want that food that you're taking in to do for you? That eucalyptus, if you're diffusing it, you want to be asking it, help me to really see those shadow sides of me, the places where I'm complaining and where I'm putting obstacles up for myself, or where I'm craving instead of just being, and help me transcend that. Let me breathe, let me connect in with that divine breath, let it move through my body so I can feel my own divine essence being opened up. And so Rahu is about being comfortable as well with your own uniqueness. Your own, again, it's kind of an eccentric energy. But eccentrics in their highest form, they're living as themselves, right? They're just being themselves in, whatever way they are, and not really worried about what anyone else thinks. So that is Rahu. That's the head of the serpent. Now, Ketu. Ketu is the tail of the serpent. And it's a very deep, intense kind of sabotaging behavior. It's where with Rahu, you could kind of see what the trauma was. With Ketu, it's deeper than that. It's often karmically related, past life related. It's like there was something that happened in that past life that shadow aspect wants to hold on to. So it's not letting us really come in fully into this incarnation and accepting it. And so it's really, fear of fear itself. It's kind of a subconscious state of fear. It seems like, why do I have this fear? Like I can't get a handle on it. What is going on with this? So it can be, again, it clouds the mind. That's how we think of Rahu and Ketu. They kind of cloud our mind and keep us out of clarity. It's like the lowest part of our shadow energy. It can have us we can have a sense that I'm dirty, I'm disgusting, that kind of deep shadow energy within it. And there's a real resignation with Ketu, just you kind of give up easy on things, you reject things that are healthy for you. You really disconnect from your spirituality, from your spiritual path, really no interest in following it. And yet Ketu is the cosmic fire. Ketu is the one that can support us with burning through the depth of that deep shadow energy to purify, and again, to transcend and really bring in that cosmic fire of spirituality, where it's not a craving to move along the path. It just is. It is a confidence, a humbleness, this humility of, yes, I am going to walk this path. I'm going to shine my colors. It's got that fieriness to it. And that we're going to surrender to that divine path, to the unknown, right? We talk about fear of failure, but fear of success is big because we don't know what's going to happen with success. We've all had failures, and the mind loves its knowns, even if they're not great. At least I know kind of what happens with this. But if I was really successful, if I really just shone my light, well, then what's going to happen? And again, we can have these negative karmic patterns, habits, beliefs that have been carried forward from times that were different. Things have changed. we have the opportunity now to really live as ourselves. So that's kind of the difference between those two. So both kind of sabotaging, they both are sabotaging aspects, but Ketu can really help us move into that state of self-realization.
It sounds to me like both energies are helping us to identify the things that we do, but they also empower us to go through them.
That's right.
And so I love that aspect of helping us to identify our shadow, but then also giving us the support and the energy to transcend that, to move beyond it, to go through it,
Yeah.
to release it, to let it go. So I love that description of them, and they both seem to do it in different ways, which is really cool.
Yeah, so you're kind of seeing the two different sides, right? And I think of self-sabotage, I guess why I brought in the splenic center before is when we're not living as ourselves, when we're sabotaging ourselves and not letting our uniqueness, our you-ness shine through, you're fighting against yourself. It's like you're attacking yourself. And that's what autoimmune disease is, right? We're attacking ourselves. So there's a relationship there between sabotage, our self-sabotaging behaviors, and our immune systems.
The one thing that I do want to add to this, and for me, language is really important, and sabotage can be linked with judgment. And I want to bring this up because it's really important that we not judge ourselves for the path that we are on and for the experience that we're having. It's about awareness. It's about understanding. It's not about, oh, I should know better. You know, I'm such an ass. I keep on making these mistakes. I keep on sabotaging myself. I keep on holding myself back. And it's really about just being aware of the energies that are present within our experience and understanding the role that we play within those energies and how we can take advantage of the energies to help us improve the quality of our life and to move forward through our life in the way that we want and the desire that allows us to grow, as opposed to holding on to the things that hold us back. And so I just want to kind of bring that up.
Right. So this is the moving from the negative kind of attachment that's associated with these to, and the negative detachment, right? Detaching from our spiritual path to the positive detachment, which is in being in the allowing. And that's why I also said these energies are here to help us bring them into awareness and actually make friends with them and to love them as parts of ourselves, that we are here in this earth realm, in this where there's duality, and there needs to be, because how can oneness learn about oneness from a place of oneness? There's nothing to learn, right? Everything's oneness. That's it. So we have to come into this duality in order to experience, in order to learn about the nature, the breadth, the depth, the extremes, to then, yes, come into that balance and back into that place of oneness. So it's quite a journey that we're on. And again, the plant kingdom beings are here to help us. And so, yes, don't judge the sabotaging behavior. Oh, and again, have it turn away from it. Oh, I hear a lot of people who say, oh, I keep self-sabotaging, but they're not going any further. It's like they just come into acceptance. I just do this kind of thing, instead of like, okay, but what's under that? What's driving that? What's at the root of that? That's what we want to excavate down to.
And I would almost look at it from a perspective of what's beyond that, what's on the other side of that.
Exactly.
And one of the things that I really appreciate about the experiences that we are going through right now as a collective on this planet is the reminder that we are already whole, the reminder that we have nothing to heal. We have nothing that's broken. And it's pointing us in that direction. And we're fighting, at least let me speak for myself. I am fighting the years of indoctrinations and ideas that have been bombarded into my experience as to how I should live as a human. What does it mean to be human? And let me give you an example. A lot of us believe that being human means that there's suffering and joy, and that both have to coexist for us to exist. And what I keep on hearing from channels that I listen to that I really respect and I really align with is a reminder that that is part of an old story that we kept on telling ourselves, and that that is part of the old experiment, and the experiment is over. And we're literally in this transition point where we're letting go of the things that we believe it means to be human, and we're going into a place of allowing an acceptance of going beyond what we even think is possible for ourselves and others. And so this conversation about identifying our shadow and recognizing that the energy that allows us to identify it is also the energy that helps us to move beyond it is really, really powerful and really, really appropriate at this point in time. But again, I want to emphasize love, support, and appreciation and gratitude for yourself of where you are, and knowing that where you are is not where you're going, because you can shift your direction in an instant. You can have insights that change your awareness and your understanding instantly. So there's nothing that holds you back. And so this understanding of the shadow is really important, but don't get caught up in the shadow. The shadow is there to help you see the light,
Exactly.
as opposed to living in the shadow. And so
yeah, that transformation, that transmutation, that transcendence. Yes, we have that immutable part of ourselves that is exactly already whole. It is whole. But boy, the excavation, right? And the work to get there. And when you work with these plant kingdom energies, they really support you in looking upon the things that we have considered as suffering, right? We label as suffering, and see the beauty in them, and to see the beauty in the cycles, in that generative, regenerative process that we go through. That yes, the body is going to, Ketu is one of those fire energies, Rahu the air, but this, like we want, I'm in the fall here, we're just having this major snowstorm right now, but the way the leaves have fallen and the plants pulled back all the nutrients into and allowed that leaf to go, and that leaf just is present to that decomposition process, that letting go and becoming new soil for new growth to come out of. There's no resistance to moving through the cycles, to just be in the allowing. So I love how the plant energies support us in that process.
Speaking of plants, Sally sent me a question. Does it make a difference in what the soil composition is that the plants are growing in?
Let me just ask the plants that question. It can, in terms of the mineral composition that they'll pull in. So how they're supporting us in grounding those energies into our being, but you can still look at the general properties that I was talking about. Do they grow in the shade? There are some that, do like the sun, but they're still considered Rahu and Ketu plants, like thyme. It's very simple, humble herb, thyme. But it's got that depth, that intensity to it. It is an herb of Ketu. It holds that cosmic fire. It helps support our immune system in moving through and moving into that place of discernment. What is true to us, what's not, what's healthy for us, what's not, helping us to transcend that cloudy mind. I talked about already eucalyptus on the Rahu side and how it helps us with the breath. So it's not like they're all growing in that state, but they have a kind of intensity to them.
So Sally, hopefully that answers your question. If not, feel free to ping me once again. There's a couple people that are interested in readings when we will get to
Yes.
that. I just want to let you know that I am aware of the requests, as is Margo, and we will get to that. But I just want to make sure that we have a nice conversation about the foundation before we get to those. So, okay, so a lot of what we've talked about is giving us an understanding of who these two energies are and how they work with us. How can we individually use them to help us move past our resistance, move through our resistance and more into allowance? How can we as individuals, without necessarily, and of course, I'm always going to say, if you're interested in playing with this, Margo can help you and you can work with her directly. But for those of us that are listening to this recording, maybe, 5 months down the road, 5 years down the road, and may not have the resources to hire someone to work with them, how can they benefit from this understanding? What can they do as individuals?
So, first of all, whether you want to journal or in some way start bringing to awareness, I'm going to use the word those sabotaging behaviors. Where do you move into resistance, constriction? Even notice, our inner saboteur, let's call it. Sometimes we'll sabotage others, right? We sabotage ourselves, but sometimes it's trying to, from its place of fear, trying to gain power, whatever, and it might diminish others. So start bringing those things into awareness, and you can start working with these plant kingdom energies. So those two are pretty easy to find. Eucalyptus, of course, if you're in the southern hemisphere, easier, but it's easy to find as an essential oil, or the leaves. Thyme, very easy to find as an herb. You can use it dried, so you could use them. You could diffuse a eucalyptus as long as it's safe, right? If you've got animals, that's not always safe to do because they have such a strong sense of smell. But there are other ways you can dilute it way down, or you might just be able to get a leaf and rub it and smell it. And you want to be setting your intention with that plant. Help me to bring into awareness these self-sabotaging aspects. And then you're asking it, help me to come into acceptance and into love and see the beauty in these sabotaging aspects. And then help me to transmute that shadow aspect into something that is supportive with me. And you can turn it into a little ritual for yourself where it doesn't have to be long. You're just taking a few minutes each day to just note, did I do anything today? Did I have any negative thoughts playing out? And go beyond. Ask that plant kingdom being to help you uncover, where is that coming from? So if, in your childhood, if you were always told you were less than, and that inner child took it in, right? And is playing that record in your mind, it's like, right? These plants can help you remember. The cosmic air, Rahu, associated with that mind as well, can help bring you into remembrance through that divine breath of, yes, there's where that original point of pain was. Little inner child, I love you so much. I understand what happened there. Now let's let that go, love that one up, and let's now move beyond it. So you are literally setting your intentions and making your requests with the plants. If you don't do that, they don't know. So you can do it out loud. You can do it in your head. Come into this relationship with them.
I love
if you've got those plants around, you might be able to just put your hand on them in the garden, right? Yeah. And start asking.
Yeah, I love the idea of viewing our animal friends as well as our plant friends and our mineral friends, which I have a lot of next to me, that we can ask them. They all want to help us. They all want to play with us. and we can ask them to help us in whatever way they're able to, and to give that invitation. I like that approach to working with our friends.
Yeah, they're beautiful. And the Ketu, the fire ones, the ones that are those deep karmic things, you may find that you need support for really excavating them. If it's happened in a past life, you may get a sense yourself, or you might need someone like me to support you in excavating that out and bringing that one through and transmuting it, just because of the depth of it. But Ketu is really associated with meditation as well. So another way that you could work with Ketu energies is just through having a flame there, because it is the cosmic fire, but you're relating to that flame in that way, that asking it as cosmic fire to support you in that purification process and in burning off and transmuting those shadow aspects into light. So that's something else that could happen. You have meditation with the Ketu energies, and that doesn't have to be sitting, eyes closed, very formal meditation. Walking meditations, actually, some people do better with those. Some people, even in their human design, they're actually their superpower per se is outer vision, not inner vision. They see things just pop out at them that support them. And so you may be walking through the forest and, a tree or a plant or something's kind of catches your attention. And it's doing that because it wants to support you.
There's something that I also want to highlight, which is something you mentioned. I want to go back to it a little bit. Not too long ago, I was introduced to a process that I really liked, which was a big part of the process is about not only the awareness, but also the gratitude. It's in recognizing what is the value that this has in my life. And even if it's so that I can see where to grow, there's always going to be a benefit to the things that we choose to bring into our existence. The way that we treat ourselves. I constantly talk about my frustrations with my mother, that I still haven't been able to let that go. And part of that process for me is to recognize the beauty of the frustration. Where is the benevolent intention of this frustration? What value does that bring to my experience? How does that help me grow more into my power? And that process of recognizing the good in it allows us to start going into that space of gratitude for it, as opposed to anger or hatred or dismissal or even resistance towards the resistance. And that's a big part of our transmutation of energy, is that process of going into gratitude, appreciation, acceptance, and love. And for me, that's a big part of what you said earlier, and I just want to highlight that for those that are listening.
Those shadow aspects, they aren't trying to harm us. They're not evil. They're just parts that had to deal with something at some time, some kind of trauma. They needed to survive. They needed to take control of something, or to protect us in some way. And it was the only way that part knew how to do it at that time. And so we're still here. It worked, right? It worked. And so we do want to bring that gratitude to it. It's just that it's outdated now. It's not serving us anymore. And the other thing that we can do is ask, when we're thinking about, like, why do I keep doing that pattern? That's not serving me. That's, how is that old pattern still? Like, that one thinks it's still serving you, that aspect, right? So what's the benefit of that shadow? Because it thinks it's doing a good job. And if you keep repeating the pattern, it's like, yeah, I'm doing my job, right? And it's like, oh, wait a minute. We need to shift. We need to give it a new assignment, a new job here.
It reminds me of something I heard a while ago that I've really liked. which is that the darkness works for the light.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really nice reminder as we're looking at our shadows that it's coming from light.
Yeah.
So I appreciate everything that you shared. I'm happy to continue having conversations with you about this, but I want to kind of turn it over to you wherever you feel is right for us to start kind of working with those that are with us live. I'll leave that up to your judgment.
I'm feeling good. I feel like we've covered a lot. We've given lots of people lots of things to chew on here. So maybe it's a good time to move into the readings.
Any questions?
Any other questions?
Yeah, any questions that come up before we jump into the readings? Feel free to put that in the chat or to raise your hand. Stacy, I see you raising your hand. Give me a second. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Stacy. Are you okay if I put you on video, or are you the one that can't go on video? You're the one that can't go on video. So,
no, I can't. Oh, geez. Sorry, I just saw myself. Yikes. I haven't been on here in a while.
You've got a beautiful background.
I don't even remember setting that up, so I guess it works.
are you okay if I put you on video, Stacey?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Thanks for asking. If I look okay, I mean, oh my goodness. Okay. I don't even know. I just raised my hand. I'm drawn to this, but I don't know why. And I'll tell you honestly, I'm really lost with this snake, and I'm not understanding it. And I'm sure there's something in there that's going to sink in. So I guess I was just open to hearing what you might direct me towards.
Yeah. So know that your being will take in what you're meant to take in, and don't let yourself go into confusion, because you can always come back to it. It's just a metaphor. It's just the snake, and it's from the mythology, is just a metaphor for our self-sabotaging shadow aspects.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that, because I like what you said about the head of the snake. You see it, but I think I'm fighting with the one at the back.
Yeah, the tail's deep, right? That's like, what's back there? What's going on?
I just get so amazed by the things that pop up with kids and grandkids, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm not manifesting this. I mean, these things are pretty serious, but it's like, I don't have to give that all that energy. So I'm trying to set up those boundaries and taking away from that. And Sherry's laughing at me. Okay. I should have turned that on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's always something to contemplate, like, what part of me called in this energy that's going on, and can you allow yourself as best you can to move into that kind of witness observer stance, and just be observing, like, what's going on. Oh, what's it like? Things will just pop out of us, right? But and we're always behind it at the start too. We have to let ourselves off the hook for that when we're trying to shift, right? Our perspectives, those patterns, they can be very deeply ingrained. And so we can be behind it, like it happens, and then we kind of like, oh, okay. But that's okay. We can look at it retrospectively and start to identify, and then we might start to catch it more in the moment that it's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, that just came out. Okay, there's that little trigger, but then we'll start to get ahead of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I can feel the pull to want to do that. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, eucalyptus time, whoever it is, like, come in and help me right now. Let's burn this off and purify, right?
We can sell that in bulk, big things of eucalyptus. Douse my house in it.
Have these giant trees growing all around your place.
Oh my gosh, it would be funny. Yeah. No cats.
So you can work with their energies, absolutely. But should we see? Should I tune in and see what's
sure,
coming through for you? So I'm doing the readings on the shadow aspect that's most eclipsing your ability to shine your light. Whatever your higher self is saying is coming up right now. That's ready to go. Okay. So a nice deep breath. Yeah, just let yourself sink into yourself, open up to receiving. I'm just going to tune in with your higher self. So we just want to know what is most eclipsing your light, what sabotaging aspect. Woo, there is an aspect that's coming through that actually goes into panic in being in your light as you go through it. And it's just like the closer you get to just having that breakthrough, the more the panic comes in. And there's this fear energy behind it. Yeah, this is Ketu. So this is this deep energy that is past life karma that's playing out again. So let me just see where this is actually rooted for you. Quite far back, 31 past lives ago.
Wow.
Is where this karma was actually originating from, this lower level karma that's being carried through. So let's just see what happened in that time, if I can get an idea of that. Okay, so I am seeing you in that time as a man, and being enslaved, and actually tried to break out of that, and was severely punished. So that masculine, right, that takes action towards, your masculine energy is here to take action towards your steps forward. That is like, no way, right?
Yeah.
So that is what needs to be supported in releasing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to be offering a package. It just hasn't all come together. This whole thing just came through to talk about this a few days ago. So yes, it'll be there by the time the summit rolls around. So you may want to look at that.
Oh yeah, it's so amazing because I just saw the email and it's like, oh, I got to go to this. I don't even know why, and I was drawn and I logged on. I'm like, oh gosh, I hope I can be. So yeah, I'm just fascinated.
Perfect.
Thank you, Margo. That's very helpful.
Yeah, thanks, Stacey.
Looking for it.
Yeah, thanks for being
Daniel.
here. Thank you.
Okay, so I just decided to stop that aspect of the recording. Spotlighting Margo and myself again. Margo, please be honest with you. You feel okay with sharing a little bit with us?
Yeah, let's just start. And for those of you that joined late, I had a gum graft on Monday, so I've got stitches in my palate, so they get aggravated if I talk a lot. So let's see what we can do, and if it's really starting to bother me, I'll just have to say that I'll stop there. But let's
Perfect.
see what
So
we
we'll
can
just
do.
kind of go with it as we do. So the first person would be Mary Johnson that would love a reading.
Hey, Mary. All right, so let's just see what's coming through for you. I want to know what's eclipsing your light, just connecting higher self to higher self. Okay, so what I'm seeing is an aspect that is in its light. So there is a part that just really wants to embody, it really wants to embody its light. You want to embody your light. But what I'm seeing is this aspect that sometimes it's like it's holding its sun, your light out in front of it. It's like putting on your happy face. And so even when you may not be, feeling it, you kind of like feel this aspect, feels like it always has to be the ray of sunshine. And so I want to see beyond that, actually. What does it think is going to happen if it's not that? Because that's the question that we want to get at with this. So let me just see what this aspect has going on here. If it doesn't do that. Okay. So if you were just to let yourself move into that down phase and allow that to actually just be, this aspect, it's not so much a burden of other people coming like, oh, what's wrong, but there's an irritation there that like, I just want to be left alone to process my stuff. And instead of kind of holding a healthy boundary and just stating that, it just is like, I don't want that irritation. I don't want that aggravation. When I put on my happy face, people actually are more likely to leave me alone than if I'm down. That's the lesson that it's learned. So let's just see where this one is rooted for you, because it's really taking a lot of vitality. It's taking a lot of energy. So before birth, past life. So this is a wound of Ketu. And let's just see how far back. 38. So pretty far back, 38 past lives ago. Ah, okay. What I'm seeing, even though it's showing up as aggravation in this life, it was more severe then. In this life, you were like some kind of court jester, something like that. Like it was your job to kind of uplift and, you know, keep the royalty happy and so on. And it was actually a severe punishment if that didn't happen. So that kind of underlying fear energy there is playing up. So that's what needs to be transmuted.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That makes sense for you, Mary?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're so cute. I love you.
Thank you.
I need another session with you for sure.
Well, take a look at the package for this one because it's
I-
pretty deep. I'm offering something that I just put together for you guys. So yeah.
Right on. Mwah, much love.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And so the next one is Savita.
Hey, Savita. Okay. Let's just see for you, connecting in with your higher self. Just opening yourself to receive, and we're just going to ask what's most eclipsing your light. Okay, well, I think the what I'm seeing at first is something that I think you already know about, which is I see this aspect that goes to step into its light and then it's getting distracted. It's getting pulled into this and that, and really out of the things that you really want to attain and that will move you forward on your spiritual path. But let's just see what's that root here. What does this one? Okay, so for this aspect, it's really being in your light has a link with abandonment. So it's kind of going and being distracted by meeting everyone else's needs. And it feels like this aspect thinks if you're fully in your light, yeah, it's going to lose all those connections. So it's working really hard to keep these connections that aren't necessarily serving you. So let's just see where this one is rooted for you. So past life. So a Ketu energy here. Thirteen past lives ago. So let's just get a sense of what's happening here. Yeah, this is really being in that servitude position in this life, and it's actually your job to serve others. And again, we're kind of having this punishment coming in if you're not doing that, and also being ostracized, being isolated. There's actually many layers to unearth within that are going on for you. Okay, makes sense?
Yes, thank you so much. It's so accurate, and I'm really struggling with that. I will try to clear that. I will clear that. Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you, Margo.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So the next one is Anitha Grace. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct.
Yeah, Anita. Okay, Anita, let's just see for you. Okay, there's an aspect that I see it actually pushing the light and pushing it uphill. And so this whole, its perspective of fully embodying your light is that it is a lot of work, and it's something that has to be this part almost forced, and it's like this uphill battle for it. So it's really tiring. It can have you kind of just want to disconnect sometimes, because this one perceives it as so much work. So let's just see too. I want to know what it thinks is actually going to happen if it was just being in its light. Okay, that it's going to be attacked. So past life, what's a Ketu coming in here today? 62 past lives ago. So here I'm seeing you actually in a high-ranking position. You are the one that's, you know, leading on, you're on display, you're really there to garner the support of people. And I'm seeing that there was a revolt in this time, and you're having to work so hard to try and keep people together, to get the community together, to not be kind of overthrown by these physical outside forces that are coming in, by these sort of invading forces. And so this is just like, do I really want to be in the light per se? So that's what's coming up. Okay. All good. Questions? Good.
Oh. Thank you, Margo. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The next one is Bev.
Bev, okay. All right, Bev, so just tuning in for you. So I'm seeing this aspect, basically how I'm setting it up to see what's going on here is having, you know, your beautiful light and just asking, is there any aspect that really doesn't want to go into that light or embody it? And so I'm seeing this aspect that's kind of like poking at it. It's a little bit suspicious of this light. Is this safe? Is this safe? So there's a security fear that fully embodying your light is not going to be safe. And so it's like this aspect wants to, but it's just not sure that it's going to be safe. So I want to dig deeper into that. So what does it think? What's the past experience? What's the past timeline on this? So before birth, this one's genealogical, so more related to the Rahu type energy. Father's genealogical line. Thirty-one generations ago on father's side is the root. So let's just see if I can get a little bit more information from your higher self about what was going on there. So it's not quite clear what your role was there, but I'm actually, or sorry, not your role, your ancestor's role was in that life, but I'm seeing a man in that generation, young man, and I'm seeing behind bars, basically, so being locked up, put away in some way. And it's like he was doing what he was radiating out. It was true to him, but it went against what the kind of the cultural norms were at that time. And so it was seen as just being disrespectful to others, to the societal norms that were there at that time. And it wasn't his intention, but it's almost like they were like, you're making fun of our values, our norms, and who are you to do that? So that's what's at the root of this one for you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, does that make sense for you, Bev?
Oh, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
So the next one is Linda.
Okay, Linda. Let's just see what's coming through for you. Okay, so again, I mean, I see this with all of you guys, so beautiful. There is, you know, this part that just wants to be fully embodied in its light. But Linda, for you, there's also an aspect that's actually quite resentful, and there's even some underlying anger there at its light. It's almost like I'm seeing it take up that ball of light and just like smashing it down on the ground. So let me just see what it thinks. Where this is rooted, because that'll tell the tale. So let's just see for you. Yeah, it's because it's rebelling against the light, that's for sure. So before birth. Yeah, past life. So this is Ketu, the cosmic fire. Yeah, the one that likes to keep you a little disconnected here. So how far back is this? 20. Yeah, 20. Okay, so let's just get an idea of what was going on here. Okay, this is about betrayal. So in this life, I'm seeing you as a man in this life. And I'm seeing this was a time when the divine was, you know, it was represented by a person, whether that was a priest, a shaman, whatever, in that society. And there has been something there that's happened where you, as that young man's feeling very betrayed. It feels like he was given an assignment by that individual, quote, you know, the divine one, who had this, that person had their shadow side, that's for sure. A lot of manipulation energy is in there. And so in carrying this out, this assignment, it was actually to set him up as being a scapegoat. So it's a scapegoat persona there. Okay. Got it? Makes sense?
Hopefully that's good
You're
for you,
muted.
Linda.
Could you clarify, Margo? That does make a lot of sense. Could you clarify in terms of the scapegoat? What are you talking about? The young man?
Yes, yeah, he was made a scapegoat. So you in that life, as that man, was made the scapegoat. You were given an assignment to specifically, he was specifically given an assignment to humiliate him and diminish him, because I can see what was happening on the other side was that there was a fear on the other side, because people were looking to him. He had so much wisdom. And it's like, nope, we got to crush that.
Yeah, you do.
So this projection coming down. Yeah, and setting him up for failure. So it's a fear of being set up for failure.
You doing, Tommy?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
You're
that
welcome.
makes a lot of sense. Yeah, thank you, Margo.
You're welcome.
The next one is Jackie.
Okay, Jackie. So let's just see for you. Again, I love with all of you guys how your higher selves are really first showing me today just this really wanting to embody your light and the work that you have been doing. So there's a really a sense of acknowledgement of that within there. And let's just see what is or what's coming through that is eclipsing your light. Yeah, a little rebel. I feel a little rebel there. I see this aspect, this kind of dipping its toe in its light, almost like teasing. It's like it's teasing your being. Like, I'm just going to dip it in there. Yeah, I'm going to do it. No, I'm not. Like, it's playing with it. Like, ha, fooled you. And it kind of has this sense of, glee within it. Like, you think you have, you know, everything's totally on board. I'm ready. And then this aspect's like, So yes, little mischievous rebel there. So let's just see where this is rooted for you. So before birth. Father's side. So this is Rahu, more Rahu type energy. And let's just see how far back here. 6 generations back. This is taking on a projection from another. So I'm seeing that this pattern of kind of someone coming in and saying, yeah, I'm all in, I'm there to support you, let's go. And then they don't show up. It's a complete manipulation, but it's like this one in your ancestral lineage was like, well, I can play that game too. And so this is kind of how it's learned to handle these situations. It's learned, yeah, okay, well, I don't have to show up, right? You did that to me, I can do that to you. So that's the pattern we want to break out of that timeline for you. Okay, makes sense?
Yes, it does. It makes complete sense. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So Yodi, I know that you got your hand up. I'm gonna, get you after we've had a chance to finish off with the others that put their request in the chat ahead of time. So the next one is Karina.
Okay, Karina. Yeah, let's just see for you. So first I have again, the acknowledgement on the high side, the aspect that's just hugging its light. So very good. You're doing your work. Let's see if there's any aspect now that is sabotaging your light. Yeah, I'm seeing an aspect that it's almost like leaning its back against the light and ignoring it. It's like absorbed in other things, and it's this disconnection that's being created, and it's almost like, oh, yawn, like, yeah, my light, whatever. It's got a little bit of a teenage attitude, this particular aspect. All right, so I just want to see, okay, so if I try and turn that aspect and have it really move into embodiment, it's a fear of humiliation that's coming up here. So let's just see where this one's rooted. Actually, in this lifetime is what your higher self wants me to bring through for you right now. So what age? Age 10. So something at age 10, I don't know if you can remember back to that, where it feels like you were in this state of playfulness and radiating your light, and then you got humiliated. So this aspect was created to protect you from that happening again. It's like, yeah, the light, but nope. And so it sets up distractions. It sets up procrastination, things that kind of put you into that almost kind of, I call it the zombie zone, we kind of zombie out in front of the TV or those types of things that pulls you off from the things that would most move you forward. Okay, any questions or make sense?
Hi, Margo. Yes, it makes sense, but I know where it's from.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep on trying to, release it. And every time I got the feeling that it's released, then somebody triggers it back.
Okay. So it's still not accepting that pattern, right? So
Yeah.
There's still an unearthing there
Yeah.
that needs to be done. So even go, the humiliation's what wanted to be brought up at the, on the surface is what your higher self was saying, but even going beyond that. So now that you've said that, let me just feel in. That needed to be brought up for some reason for you.
Okay.
So let me just feel in and now see if we can go deeper back.
Okay.
Because it's feeling like we can go deeper back. So yeah, I'm glad you were here, because sometimes this happens where your higher self has to give you like a point, like, here, this is still happening. Here's what
I
happened.
know. I keep on asking myself, why is she coming back all the time?
Yeah, so let me just feel in now, because now I'm feeling a pull back on the timeline, and it's got a huge amount of grief in it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me just see. Past life. Yeah. Past life. How many past lives ago? That number 13 coming up again. 13 past lives ago. Just going to ask these Plant Kingdom allies, Ketu, to come in and just help to just release and burn off some of that grief, because I'm having trouble even going below that. So I'm still feeling the sense of humiliation in this. I'm feeling that you are a woman in this time, a young woman in this time. And there is this very, very deep connection actually with nature, with the plant kingdom beings, you being able to work with them in a very deep way. However, this is a time when we know that this happened in history where all of that got suppressed. The feminine was suppressed, the herbalist, anything that was outside of this external off-planet god had to be cut. And the way that was done was through ostracizing and humiliation. And even what I'm hearing is who you were, that you were in that time, that woman was doing the devil's work. And it cut so deep because it wasn't true. All you wanted to do was help others. And so this is just like right to the heart, this deep core wound in there. So the humiliation, brings it up, but there is a much deeper wounding to the core of your very being, and what you knew in your heart you were meant to do in that life, and got projected on. Yeah, that you are like an advocate, you're working for the devil, and this was just one of the manipulation techniques that was there. So it's that aspect that needs some support now.
Okay, thank you, Margo.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We've got
Yes.
2 more, Margo. Are you still good?
Yep, I am good.
Beautiful. So the next one is
Okay.
Genevieve.
Okay. All right, Genevieve, let's see for you. Sorry, I just gotta clear that out for Karina. Okay, here we go. So connecting in with your higher self. Yeah, I'm seeing an aspect. It's like, your beautiful orb of light is there. And again, it's this big part that just wants to be the full embodiment. But I'm seeing this other part that's walking around it. It's almost like it's pretending, oh yeah, I'm here with my light, but it's not really stepping into it or wanting to step into it. So it kind of puts on this facade that, yeah, I'm here. I'm, with its light, but it's not in its light. So I want to see what happens if I try and move it into the light. Wow, a lot of resistance from this one. Panic is coming up. So let me just clear out some of that so I can get deeper at this. Okay, so this one is carrying a very deep fear that if it fully embodies its light, that it's not going to be successful, that it's going to disappoint. It's going to disappoint the divine. It's going to let the divine down, and it doesn't want to have that pain. So let's just see where this is rooted. Past life again. Wow, lots of past life ones today. Ketu, it's coming in strong. How many past lives ago? 12 past lives ago. All right, so let me just see what was going on for here, Genevieve. Sorry, I'm a little bit slow, you guys. Just keeping this palette stuff off to the side. All right, so 12 past lives ago. This is kind of similar to another one that came up today, because I'm seeing a figure that was, again, the priest, whoever was the representation of the divine in that time, actually telling you, and I'm seeing you as a boy in this time, that you failed, and it's heart crushing. It's heart crushing to that little boy that you were in that time, because it's just, oh, I can feel his heart just wanting to be so connected to that glorious light, and given again this task to do, but not having the support and the means to carry it out. And then on top of it, the feeling like he's deeply disappointed and let down, this representation of the divine. Again, it just brings a little bit of tears to my eyes. So that's what needs to be released for you, so that one can fully embody its light. Okay. Any questions about that, or make sense?
Thank you, Margo. It makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And Yoti, we are now on with you.
Hi, Jody.
You need to unmute.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, okay. Hi, Margo. It's good to see you in person.
I know, it's been a while.
I know, right? Would you do a reading for me for the topic of, thank you.
Absolutely. So again, I love how there's just lots of acknowledgement for the work that you've been doing, and everyone here. So thank you guys for continuing on your path. And Jody, let's just see now. What aspect is most eclipsing your light? Okay, I'm seeing an aspect that I'm seeing it kind of put its face into the light, and there's this sensation that comes up that's like drowning. And so it's like this aspect thinks if it really steps into its light, there's this sense of being overwhelmed by what's coming in, what's going to come in for it, what it's going to have to do. And yeah, this kind of sense of drowning in the light. Yeah, I can see why that one doesn't want to be in it. That's its perspective on it. So let's just see where this is rooted for you. Before birth. Mother's genealogical line this time. So we've got some Rahu energy in here. And let's see how far back. Uh, 28 generations ago on mother's side. So let's get a sense of what's. Okay, so I'm seeing someone here who is very, very gifted at something. Does feel like some kind of craftsmanship work that she's doing, and word gets out that about her skill set. And so I see others coming to her, and this is great because it's helping to bring in, you know, the abundance and so on for her. But then I'm seeing that there was another level of someone very high up, and there were so many demands, and also pickiness is the way I want to say, like, is so specific. And also I saw a lot of, like, they would change their mind too. You'd put all this work in, and then they would say, that's not right, that's not good enough, that's not what I wanted at all, although that's actually what they articulated. And then they're giving you something new, and now the bargain's not correct, because you're putting in all this work for what they said they wanted, and they're saying, no, I'm not paying for that, I don't want that, it needs to be this way. And also because of their position, there's this sense in that generation, sorry, I'm probably saying you, but I mean the woman in that generation, that she is she feels like there's no choice now, where it was this beautiful combination of service and energetic exchange. The exchange isn't right anymore, but there's going to be a very severe punishment if she doesn't do for them. And so it's this, everybody else is also kind of looking in, and, oh, you're so fortunate to be able to do this. And what the reality that's happening is not that. So again, there's a number of layers within there to be cleansed out for that one.
Oh, that's fascinating. It was so interesting how it, I see little threads of it in my life, but not too many. But yeah, so thanks for being able to find that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So, Gao, I don't know if I'm mispronouncing your name, but you raised your hand.
Hello.
Hi, beautiful sister. How are you?
I'm
Long
good.
time.
A long time. Oh my God, I couldn't miss this one. I just saw the email. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna jump in.
I'm glad you did. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I would love to have a reading too.
For sure. Yeah, let's just see for you. Again, beautiful acknowledgement coming in for the work that you've done. And let's just see now. Wow. Okay. So there's an aspect, Gao, that's quite angry with the light. In fact, I see it like stabbing the light. It's
Yeah.
like, you've done for me. Quite a lot of anger that this one is carrying. Let's just see where this is rooted for you. Yeah. Past life. So this Ketu, this cosmic fire, this karmic energy. In here, and how far back? This feels like it's pretty far back. Yeah, 48 past lives ago. Yeah, a lot of warring energy. So I'm just clearing some of that out so I can get a better sense of what was going on here.
Yeah.
You know, I know in your ancestors, right, there's so much tribal
God.
energy, but this
Yeah.
is here as well in this past life.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this is like the belief that I'm seeing within this is that, like, you really have to fight for your light. It's like there's some territory there that is full of abundance. And so there's always this fighting over it. Right? Like, it's like, this is where the prosperity is, at least, you know, in this time. And I'm seeing you as a woman, but like this warrior woman in this time. And so there is, on the positive, this sense of really like being able to inspire others, like, you know, let's go. But there's also this this having to fight against invaders all the time coming in, that's being in the light is a place where you always have to be on guard, right? Instead of being in that beautiful spiritual immunity, like these plant kingdom beings give in of transcendence, that you're able to move through and rise above that. But this one is always on the alert. If I'm in the light, I got to be alert for the invaders, for the people coming in, trying to take this from me. Right. And so it always kind of creates this tension within, and not really able to relax into that light.
Yeah.
And allow it to truly, for this aspect, nourish it and keep that beautiful spiritual fire kindled. Sometimes this aspect I see, like, it's angry, but then it's just like, I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
Right. I just want to walk away from it and disconnecting, which is why the Ketu side is coming in. Okay.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you. Because I mean, I would say, I mean, we've had a conversation. I would say I see a bit of that where it's kind of like there is this expansion that is happening, but at the same time, it's kind of like, just watch out. It's not like everyone is happy for this, especially family stuff and all that. So I can relate with that aspect even in this lifetime. So I guess I'll have to work on that. But
exactly. So it's almost like I see so much of you just being in that light, and it's almost like 1 foot outside of it, and this aspect, pulling on it, and like this weight that drags you. So yeah, as you clear that one out, that's going to really support and freeing up that energy, and you to just really allow yourself to be nourished by it, instead of feeling I got to be on guard and protected.
This because I can relate with this at times, this pain that comes at the back of the heart, where it's kind of like it's kind of like an expectation of some betrayal or something to happen, instead of relaxing and knowing that the universe has my back and I don't have to watch my back, which is more expansive.
Exactly. Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome to connect.
So Margo, thank you so much for everything. Once again, your kindness and your giving nature, even given the condition that you're finding yourself in. Really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much for everything that you've done with us today, and also a couple of weeks ago. Love having you in here with us, and lots of love and light your way to help you with the healing process.
Thank you.
If you have a little bit of time, I would love to hear your thoughts on the program that you put together.
Yeah, so this, when I did the pre-record, I was saying to Daniel, like, it just came in to talk about the eclipse energies, and this is coming up so much in the mentoring work that I do, this kind of like, you're just about there, and then it's like the molasses comes in, as I talked about, and everything slows down, and just breaking free of that. So I've put together a program that is really to support moving through those sabotaging, those inner sabotaging aspects. So Daniel's put a link up on the page there. I do have a free gift if you guys haven't had this or picked it up already too, how to work with the plant kingdom beings, and 4 of them that you can work with, including the thyme and eucalyptus to support you. So that's at the top. And then this is taking you through that process that I talked about, where we're bringing those sabotaging aspects into the light. We're bringing compassion to them. We're making, friends with them. And it's really a perfect time for this to be happening, because a lot of stuff comes up over the holiday season. And so this program is actually going to bridge the holiday season. We're really going to use that to see what comes up. So we'll have an orientation and intention call It's going to happen in December. I put that date on the bottom of the page, where we'll come together. I'll give you the background information, an initial infusion just to support you in being grounded and open to the energies that we'll be bringing in through this program. I'm going to have an intake form that I'll be asking you questions, identify, which of these ones are you noticing playing out in your life, and also setting intentions for wherever you're at right now, right? They're going to shift through the program, but that's okay. We just want to get that initial bringing this to mind, bringing this up. And I find that doing a little intake form, illumination form will really support you with that. Everybody's going to get a reading as well. So I did a reading today. Yeah, that's a bonus. Everyone in the program, whether you had one today or on the live call before, is going to get a reading on that shadow aspect, eclipsing your light. And then we're going to have 2 master classes. So in the first master class, we're really going to delve into the sabotaging shadow aspects. And, there's common aspects that we can talk about, the people pleaser and the one who's distracted and so on, but what's their motivation? We want to get deeper and keep excavating, unearthing. The plant kingdom's like that, unearthing. Thanks, plants. Unearthing their motivations and what's really driving them. And then I also want to introduce you to the celestial plant kingdom allies of Rahu and Ketu in a bigger way, so that you understand their qualities and what they bring through. I mean, the plant kingdom means they, of course, help us to really ground things in. That's just part of their nature, along with all the celestial light that they bring. And you'll get a PDF guide with the information that goes along with those as well. The second masterclass, I'm going to be using your human design. So if you have your birth date and time information, I'll run your chart. And I'm specifically going to be looking at the fear centers. If you don't have your time, that's okay. Well, I'll work with your date, because often there's things that for the outer planets don't change all day. And I can take a look at that. And even if you don't know your birth information at all, just really getting down to these primal fears. So the splenic center in human design is our center that's associated with the immune system. So it's not just the spleen, it's the whole immune system, lymphatic system, our immunity, what's healthy for me and what's not, right? That spiritual immunity, that's what it helps you do, discern what's healthy for me and what's not. But the primal fears are held within that center. And so we're going to go through the primal fears and which ones are you most vulnerable to. There's different relationships depending on your wiring and how it will play out in your life. And so I really want to delve into that to support you with what the not self mind, the shadow mind, makes up about those particular genetic qualities and the vulnerabilities that come with them. Again, it's going to bring up and up to the surface and into the light these shadow motivating fears that are come along with your genetic wiring. They're the interpretation of the shadow mind of your wiring, and I'll tell you what the high forms are as well of the characteristics that you may have there. Then we're going to actually I'm going to get those master classes done before the Christmas holidays. So we'll start and we'll move through those pretty quickly. Then there's going to be a little break that kind of last week of December, first week of January, when I'm with my family. But that's going to give you a chance to, again, really, because again, the holidays, things tend to come up. So then we're going to come back and have a workshop that's really about all these shadow aspects and their motivations we've been talking about, releasing those, and then bringing in those high vibration essences of the plant kingdom beings to support you in the shifts, in integrating the new high vibration motivations that align you with your path, with your journey, with embodying your luminous light. If you want to go even deeper, so that's everything that I've put into option 1. I have some extra things that are really going to take us further down this path. First of all, during that holiday season, if you're doing option 2, I'm actually going to give you a guide to the questions to ask yourself to help illuminate those shadow aspects, and some little quick wins that you can do as well. We're going to have a Q&A session. So we're going to come together as a group after the workshop so that I can see what you're at, how much has been cleared of what we identified in the reading, what else has come up for you. It's a chance for us to have in that group setting some one-on-one conversations about where you're at. And then again, supporting you with that, and some strategies and practices that you can take forward depending on what's been coming up here. And it's so beneficial to hear what's going on from others. I'm sure even today, as you heard the other readings, it was like, oh yeah, I got that one too, right? You're you know it, your higher self comes in, yeah, and to work on clearing that. And then we're going to come together again for a 2.5-hour retreat. And this is where we're going to be amping up your connection now with that cosmic air and that cosmic fire, connecting you in a deeper way to that divine breath and that spiritual fire, helping to keep it stoked as you move forward. So we're going to do some different practices, and then for each person at the retreat, I'm going to have felt into which specific Rahu and Ketu plant for you wants to support you, and bringing those in for infusion for you and activating those within your system. And as I go through each person, everybody else gets to benefit. You just set the intention with your higher self. Oh, if this one's for me too, we're just going to let this come in. And you also get to be witnessed in receiving those beautiful activations, which is a pretty incredible experience. So yes. And then I've got a bonus too. So everyone will get the bonus, which is a post-workshop integration meditation, which is cultivating the inner garden of your heart's dreams and desires. And again, those plant kingdom beings will be helping you with the integration process, right? When we shift the energies, we can shift energetically in the moment, but to move down into body sometimes takes a bit of time. And I want to make this as accessible to people as possible. So I've got different payment options. If you're doing the option 1, it's $166.50, but there's a 2-pay and 3-pay option. And if you're doing the full thing with the live Q&A and the retreat and the guide, it's $333. And again, there's a 2-pay and a 3-pay option for that. And those are in US dollars, just because that's what I work on in my business. And yeah, and if you need something different, you really want to do it, but you need a different payment plan, just email me. Let me know. It's not a problem at all. So yeah, you can go to margofraser.com /Eclipse Alchemy.
Isn't it margogfraser.com?
Sorry, margogfraser.com. Goodness gracious.
Just to send people to the right place.
I know, and I often get people who are sending me things and they put Margo Fraser and it never gets to me. I'm like, did you put the G in the middle?
Yeah.
Someone else owns Margo Fraser. Someone else owns that domain, so I couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you can tell, Margo is incredibly generous, and thank you so much, Margo, once again for all of your time and energy and support and love to myself and the community that we're growing and building here. Really, really appreciate it. For those of you that have been with us today, hopefully you enjoyed it, and you will be joining us again tomorrow. We're starting off with Karen. She goes by Care. And then we're going to have Samuel and Heidi Sue. So we've got a beautiful lineup again tomorrow. For those of you that I will see again, I look forward to it. And for those of you that are going to be checking out the recordings, love to have you here as well. So until next time, I will leave you guys with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more, have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.